is the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, where I strategize with business owners on how to grow and scale their businesses to hit their income goals. This is episode 395 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today, we're going to be jumping into how to improve your mindset as a small business owner with Brooke Elliott. Before you do jump into the episode, I want to make sure that if you haven't already taken advantage of the insider's pricing at 40% off, you are absolutely missing out. You are going to want to join. You are getting weekly training on the most up-to-date information, whether it's about the Google update or algorithm updates with your favorite social media apps. You're definitely going to want to be a part of that. You can hop into the show notes and the discount is right there for you to be able to join, as well as you're also going to get a monthly coaching call. All right, you guys, let's jump into this episode. Hi, Brooke. How are you? Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much, Jenny. It's so great to be here.
I am so excited to have this conversation about how to improve your mindset as a small business owner. But before we jump into that, will you actually introduce yourself and your business to my listeners?
Absolutely. So hi, everyone. So glad to be here. My name is Brooke Elliott, and I am your champion for change in my coaching and consulting business. I'm a wife, a mother, live in Rock Hill, South Carolina, from the Maryland area. And I started my business 2 years ago and have evolved drastically over those 2 years. And I specialize today in keynote speaking, coaching, talent development, and culture consulting. And I'm dedicated to empowering leaders and organizations to become catalysts for change. Absolutely love what I do.
Excellent. So good. And I always love it when we have a Northerner that has moved down to Charlotte, like myself.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And you have been here much longer than I have, like we talked about.
Yes, 18 years. It's absolutely crazy to think about it, but yes.
Yeah. So good. All right. So let's just jump right in. What is an entrepreneurial mindset? How would you go about defining that?
Yes. So an entrepreneurial mindset is, the way I think about it is your ability to succeed in the entrepreneurial world. Now, there are definitely certain things that fall under that, and it includes a myriad of personality traits, skill sets, attributes, and attitudes. But if you think about it, think of like you were to invent something that you knew you had to share with the world because it would absolutely change people, right? And it's something that people need. And so your ability, your desire, your passion to actually make sure that everybody had access to your invention, right? So what does that mean? That means your vision and your passion have to be solid. There has to be a solid foundation. It has to be connected to who you are as a person, your why, your purpose, but then also that you're willing to take risks. You're willing to fail. You'll actually fail forward, right? So your ability to be resilient, but then also how resourceful are you? And are you willing to build relationships to ensure that you can market your invention, right? So a lot of different things that fall under that entrepreneurial mindset to ensure that your business is sustainable and that you have the right attitude, but then also the right support to be successful. That's how I think about it.
Yeah.
And there's actually, if most of the listeners don't know this, there's actually an individual here in the Charlotte area that co-authored an entrepreneurial mindset profile that entrepreneurs can actually take to see where they actually fit in terms of how established their entrepreneurial mind is. I highly suggest that. It's actually very interesting.
Very good. Absolutely. And for those that are listening, when we're talking about when Brooke said invention, I want you all to think about it doesn't necessarily have to be that physical product. It can be the course that you're using in order to teach that mother how to deal with their child that has ADHD, or that food blogger that has created an ebook that is going to be able to help them be able to get the dinner on the table faster. All of those are exactly what we're talking about. That if you don't put it
Absolutely.
out there to help your audience with your idea, with your solution, then you're being selfish. And I think that that's often a hard thing for us to wrap our brain around because we see so many people putting things out there that we will often say, how am I different? Someone else has something just like that. And it is that entrepreneurial mindset that allows us to know that what I have and what I'm going to put out there is going to be different because it has my voice behind it. We have to have the confidence in order to do that.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Product, service, whatever it is that makes your product, whatever that is, unique and different because of what you uniquely bring to the world.
Yes, so
Mhm.
good. So, what strategies can we use to overcome negative thinking patterns like someone else has put out the same idea?
Oh, yes. So first off, that is an inner critic. It's a saboteur that's entered your mind and told you, don't move forward on that. You're not going to win. You're going to fail. I speak a lot about inner critics and how they actually affect and impact our trajectory as entrepreneurs. And the first part of this and the strategy that I always say to be aware of is the recognition that is actually an inner critic in your mind, right? Because when we actually say, and be aware of the fact that something has entered our mind to cause that negative thought or emotion, we can then say, well, I have the opportunity to take control of that. And so awareness and recognition is absolutely the first step. And if you think about it, if you think back to our childhood or even our teenage years, nobody said to us, we were not trained on, oh, there's a saboteur, an inner critic in your mind, and you have to be aware of that. And when you become upset and experience negative emotions, you need to recognize that and you need to take control and move forward as quickly as possible. Nobody really told us that. But the reality is when that happens, it affects how we react, how we communicate, how we collaborate, our ability to focus for like up to a day. And so that can absolutely affect our ability to move forward in our business. So becoming aware of those inner critics. And then I always I'm a huge proponent of positive intelligence and mental fitness, which includes a meditative aspect, right? So, and if you're not into meditation, that's totally fine. But it really, honestly, at the end of the day, it's focusing on something different than what is in your thoughts, right? And what's in your brain and that negativity. And then replacing that negativity with something positive, right? So it could be gratitude. It could be how do you actually move forward utilizing your strengths? What have you learned from the situation that you can fuel forward with? And then perhaps also, what inspiring action can you take that will fuel yourself forward, but then also positively impact the people that you're surrounded by as well. And at the end of the day, it's all about your saboteurs and being able to own and control them.
Yes, the negative spiral that we can often get ourselves into and trying to figure out that way to get out. I love that you gave them an example of being able to say, think of something positive and make it about that, right? Or what I can learn from it. Because it does, it changes the trajectory of what you were thinking about. So good.
Absolutely.
So, how do we go about actually cultivating resilience in the face of challenges? Because I know I often, especially depending upon how you grew up, I often heard, when's the next shoe going to fall? It is what it is, was always the way that I grew up listening to my parents talk. And I think it's that resilience to be able to move forward. How do we do that?
Sure. So, I'm not speaking for everybody here probably when I talk about this, but I will say first and foremost for me, it always comes down to faith, or it comes down to the faith that everything happens for a reason, right? Things are meant to be. I often do personally go to certain passages that help me not be anxious or worried. But resilience is honestly, it's a mindset, right? So the mindset and the strategy that you take to move forward. And I like to think of things like, actually, I have a particular talk that I talk about the tools you have in your tool belt to actually cultivate resilience when there are setbacks and challenges. And one of those tools is self-discovery, knowing who you are, knowing your unique attributes and what you bring uniquely to the world, what your talents are, and that nobody else can do besides you. Because what does that do? That actually cultivates confidence in ourselves, right? And in our abilities that, I'm in my lane, nobody else is. And I'm in control of my lane. And I'm the only one that can bring this to the table the way that I can. So self-discovery is absolutely a part of it. And then that, again, that fuels confidence. But then also going back to the saboteurs, right? Being able to manage those saboteurs, that's another tool in our tool belt to be able to control and manage them and when we're faced with challenges. So it comes down to mindset. And then I also say on top of this is the layer of strategy, right? So when we're able to control our mindset, we have the great attitude, we believe in ourselves, we're confident. Okay, then what? What strategies are maybe not thinking of in order to move forward and to continue to cultivate resilience? Because that absolutely gives us the keys, to continue to succeed.
Excellent. Yes. It's so funny that what you described is exactly what I talk about in my book as positioning. And it's exactly what I tell my people. You have to know how you are unique, and they may not realize why I forced them to do that, but it's exactly what you said. It gives them then that confidence to be able to stand in their greatness of what they do and their voice that they have.
Yes, I love it. Absolutely.
So what are some effective techniques for managing stress and anxiety? Because I think as entrepreneurs, we obviously are dealing with the ups and downs of our businesses, while many of us, especially my listeners, are moms and wives and have the craziness of the kids and the life changes and all the things that go on. So how can we manage the stress and anxiety?
I love that you asked me this question, because I have personally had some anxiety myself over the last several months. And the reason for that is I have an ill, almost 18-year-old dog that has been in my life for that long, and is going through some things, right? I've got a lack of sleep. But then also I've challenged myself in my business to get out more and do more speaking engagements. As an introvert, right, it's really hard to step out of our comfort zone sometimes and get in front of people for long periods of times. So that anxiety is real for me. And so it has been absolutely imperative that I actually implement strategies to calm myself down and to move forward, successfully and with a great mindset. And so the first thing that I always do is box breathing, right? That breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and then breathe out for 4 seconds and hold for 4 seconds. That absolutely helps us, because what we know is breathing actually calms our body. It clears our mind, but it does so many other things. So that's the first thing that I go to. The second is something that I mentioned earlier around being able to replace our negative thoughts or our emotions with a positive one. And those are the mental fitness meditative practices. So being able to just focus, say, on details of nature, looking at a tree and saying, oh, I've never noticed that there is like so many leaves or beautiful colors on the tree, just distracting yourself from actually what's happening so that your mind can start to relax. And then another thing that I do in my business when I start to feel anxious and things are just kind of overwhelming is I start to set better boundaries. Right? Because we need to be able to focus on the things that are most important. And a lot of times we're yes, 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 yes. And that brings about a lot of anxiety for us. So setting really great boundaries. I have several books that I always refer to when it comes to that. The One Thing is one of them, the 12-week year and the 40X principles. I always love to suggest those books because they're fantastic.
Hey there, guys. My name is Melanie from Mostly Under Control, and I am a member of Jenny's Influencer Entrepreneurs Insiders membership. I've been a part of it since 2017, and over these 6 years, I've taken full advantage of the weekly trainings that Jenny offers and the monthly group coaching. The group coaching is probably my favorite part of the membership. Jenny has taught me so many things for my business. She helped me niche down and write and teach about what I wanted so that I wouldn't burn out. In addition to what she teaches, the networking I've done with other members has been invaluable. I recommend her membership to all of my online business owner friends because it is worth every single penny.
And then I have several others, so I'm going to go through them quickly. Getting great sleep, right? So what actually fuels that is exercise and good diet. So, right, it's a cycle. It's almost like the chicken before the egg thing, right? You have to be able to control what you're fueling your body with in order to continue to fuel yourself forward. And so getting good sleep through exercise, great diet, and being able to set boundaries. And then making sure you spend time doing what you love in your life. Yes, we are guided towards our passion and our purpose, and we are fueled, and we have so much energy towards that. But at the end of the day, we need to step back and say, okay, I need to spend some time doing the other things that I love for some great harmony in my life. And again, great distractions, right? Help us because, and good distractions, things that are going to bring positivity in our life so that we can further move forward without that stress and anxiety kind of overwhelming us. So those are the strategies that I would say come to mind first and foremost.
Yes. And I think the one that I can say that I hear a lot of people will really struggle with are the boundaries, because it's hard for them to figure out how to set them when they feel like, well, it's my phone and I'm able to access social media at any time and answer an email and do all the things that I'm supposed to be doing. And they can't understand why they're getting frustrated with their kids or not having great conversations potentially with their partner, whatever it might be. And I always talk about the fact that balance isn't really something that exists. It's a pendulum. Sometimes you put more energy towards your relationships, and other times you can focus on your business, and you just have to be okay with that. But that comes with setting boundaries and being flexible to know when you need to adjust those boundaries. Yes. And I think when you go through something like you're going through right now, I know when my dad got sick, it was very much, okay, my boundaries are totally shifting and my focus needs to be on my family and I'm going to be okay with the business, just kind of on autopilot for a little bit.
Yes. Being able to say, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with this shift in my life, and it's necessary, right? And I see the importance of actually the shift.
Yes. Okay. So another one that I know my listeners struggle with because they are all over social media and are constantly looking on it is, how can we stop comparing ourselves to others and focus on our own journey and path?
Yes, I love this one. I love that question because something that I have adopted over the last year that has actually helped me personally, but that I also know that has helped others as well, is saying to yourself every single day, there is no competition. There is no competition because you are uniquely you. However, you can't appreciate that without actually going through the journey of self-discovery, right? If you don't know what makes you unique and what sets you aside and differentiates you from other people that perhaps do the same thing. I know there's a million coaches out there, there's a million consultants, but what I can say is that nobody brings to the table exactly the processes that I've adopted. Nobody brings to the table the person that I am, the energy that I bring, the experience that I bring, why I bring it, etc. Right? But I also know the specific attributes of who I am, my personality, my strengths, right? And all the different things that make me who I am specifically. So first off is adopting that mindset, but also going through and actually taking the time to know who you are, period. And I suggest, I'm a huge proponent, advocate of taking various assessments to learn about yourself and looking at the various common themes across those assessments and saying, okay, all of these things maybe these things resonate with me, maybe these things don't, and then running with them and continuing to grow in that self-discovery and being a continuous learner. It doesn't just stop with a one-time thing, right? Like I don't take assessments just once and then believe in them for the rest of my life. You have to continually invest in yourself. And so that self-investment in the personal development is very important. That's really what I would say is believing that and then knowing yourself and truly saying to yourself every single day, reminding yourself there is absolutely no competition.
Yes, so good. Oh my goodness. So, how can I continue to build my self-confidence and belief in my abilities?
Yes. So I go back to something that I mentioned earlier in being willing to fail forward, right? Stepping outside of your comfort zone and just do it. If you have this vision of yourself, and what that looks like and being able to bring your unique talents, but then also really what you bring to the world, just do it, right? Just step out of that comfort zone and try it. And know that even though we see things potentially as failure, it doesn't mean that they actually are, right? What we're doing is we're growing. We're learning and we're growing. So seeing things as learning opportunities. And when we are actually willing to step outside of our comfort zone on a regular basis, that is going to build our confidence. And that's going to build your belief in your abilities. And you may actually then decide, well, I've been doing this, I've been stepping out of my comfort zone and I've decided these are the things that I really like and I enjoy. And I think I'll continue to do those things versus the things that I've stepped out and decided that, I don't think those make sense for me to continue forward. So being able to discern the things that actually are bringing fulfillment to your life, but then also fulfillment to others as you step out. I also really am an advocate of visualization techniques, right? So visualizing yourself in whatever realm of success, so how do you ever define success? And who are you surrounded by? What resources do you have? What types of things are you doing? How do you feel, right? What is your attitude? And so that visualization will help you really decide where it is that you really should be in the future. You could do it on an annual basis. You could do it on a monthly, even a weekly basis. And then what actions are you going to actually take to see yourself in reality in that place? And then also I would say building self-confidence means surrounding yourself with people that support you in your journey and are going to pour positivity in you versus taking it away or providing, say, a negative energy. People that actually support your vision. But that means you have to share it with them, right? So being vulnerable and sharing it with people that you can trust and you're willing to be vulnerable with. So support is really big. And, I'm really an advocate for being involved in the community because local support is huge in terms of your mindset and your confidence in moving forward. And I would also say celebrate the baby steps because when you celebrate your small wins, it actually allows you to reflect on where you've come and appreciate the fact that, they might be small steps, but you're doing it. You are actually taking the steps on your journey. And that's really important. That's important for you. That's important for the world in terms of what you're providing. And all of these things, I think when you put them all together, that's really going to help your confidence, along with the fact that you know who you are through that self-discovery. You're owning those negative thoughts and those saboteurs in your mind. But it's a commitment. It's a commitment that you've got to be willing to take and to do every single day.
Yes, There are no other questions that I could possibly have because that is just the perfect way to end this. Like, if you do not have huge takeaways from this episode, you need to listen again and really pick one of the strategies that we've talked about today that Brooke has spoken about and implement them, because you will see a difference. That uncomfortable feeling that you are having because you're trying something new is growth. And as like you said, as long as you fail forward and learn from it, you're going to continue to grow your business. So, Brooke, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Where is the best place for people to get in touch with you if they have more questions?
Absolutely. So I am every single day on LinkedIn. You can find me as Brooke Elliott or www.linkedin.com/in/be-complete. Please connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can email me at brooke@becompletecc.com, and that is becompletecc.com.
Perfect. We're going to make sure that we have that in the show notes that go along with this. Brooke, I appreciate you so much for taking the time to speak with me and share your knowledge with my audience. I truly appreciate it.
Well, Jenny, it has been a pleasure being on today. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I really appreciate it.
Of course. All right. I am hoping that you were able to take away so much inspiration from this episode. These are all things that are controllable when we are talking about your mindset. It's just training yourself how to look at it differently and how to continue to have that positive mindset to continue to move forward. You need to do it for the people that you are putting out information in order to help. So make sure that you do it. Take away, do put some of these exercises into place, and you will see differences in the way that you approach your day and your business. All right, you guys, until next time, I will see you all then.